Hey guys, today I'm going to tell you how I built my current computer. So my old case is a NZXT Phantom full tower. Now this of course is not what it looked like originally. I took all of the panels off after painting them 2 or 3 different colors. I was kind of bored with that. So I took all the panels off and made this wooden case. And so I'm taking pieces from my old computer and putting them on a new motherboard and everything else. My graphics card is a MSI RX 580, and I had an FX 8350 DDR3 RAM. I think it was about 16 gigabytes. And here's my new motherboard, the X570 AORUS Pro Wi-Fi. I got that because it can be upgraded to the newest Ryzen CPU. And here's the box for the graphics card, and here's the box for the CPU, which is the Ryzen 5 1600. I got that just as a placeholder until I can upgrade to the Ryzen 9, whatever the 16-core processor is. Here's the case that I got, which is the Enthoo Pro Mini ITX something. All this stuff will be in the description below. I mostly got this one because it's small, it supports water cooling, and it has a tempered side panel. One problem you'll notice with this computer is that, or with this case and my power supply, is that the power supply I had was too big for a mini ITX case, but I ended up making it work anyway. And this case also had some nice cable ties in the back, which came in handy, even though you can't really see them. I had a hard drive from my old computer, which was a 2 terabyte Western Digital green drive, which 3 years later is still working. This case has room for at least 2 hard drives in the bottom area. Now I had to take this back out in order to put the power supply in. And my power supply is an EVGA 750G. And by this point, that power supply is about 5 or 6 years old, and it's still working just fine. So I'm probably due for an upgrade pretty soon. As you can see, I took the hard drive out, and then I just slid it in sideways, the power supply. And it's fully modular, which came in very handy, which means I can plug the wires in to the power supply without having a giant bundle coming off of it to deal with. Secured that with 4 screws. And if you ever have a power supply like that, don't let the handle fool you. The handle is not that strong, and you can't really use it to hold your computer case, or you'll bend it. You'll literally bend the power supply. Now there's the motherboard power cable, and the one before that was for the CPU. This computer has a the CPU that I used takes enough power that you have to use 8 pins compared to a regular 4 for any normal computer. And that cable there is a SATA cable going to the hard drive. I'm just routing that to the motherboard. And then I'm running the power for the motherboard through the grommet. And I like this computer case because it has a place to put the CPU power cable through the case right next to where it plugs in, so you barely see a wire going across. And here's the motherboard. I I still can't get over how small mini ITX motherboards are. Here's my stock CPU cooler that came with the CPU. It has pre-applied thermal paste, so you don't have to add any of that. And this motherboard runs hot enough with the high CPU that you can get that it has a cooler for some of the chipset stuff. Now with the CPU cooler, I had to take the stock brackets off of the motherboard, and the cooler that came with the CPU had a plate that the cooler screws to through the motherboard with 4 screws. Now the RAM that I got was Corsair Vengeance, and I got 16 gigabytes worth of RAM. I'm planning to upgrade in the future. One problem I have had with this motherboard is that the graphics card is old enough that the drivers are being weird, and I've had nothing but problems with this graphics card in particular and Windows 11. With Windows 10, I had to completely disable my drivers for my driver updates for the chipset, because it would update every single time I had the computer on, and then every video would glitch after it updated. Now, 4 screws hold the motherboard in the computer case. And you'll notice I'm using a thinner screwdriver for the 2 closest to the side of the case, because there's not much room at all to screw those in. Now there I connect the 24-pin cable supplying power for the motherboard and the SATA cable coming from the hard drive. I did eventually get a 256 gigabyte NVMe solid state hard drive for this, but that was at a later time. Now I remove the plates covering the holes for the graphics card. And there's my graphics card. Once again, a RX 580 MSI. Then I put the bracket back on top of the graphics card. And there's the finished computer. So if you like that video, then like and subscribe, and look forward to more videos coming like this from I'll Build Anything.